So you might be wondering, why am I wearing a crown? That's because this car makes me feel like a king. Now, price and range is the most important thing. So this vehicle is $63,000 and it has 460 k's of range from a 61 kWh battery. So now that I'm in the BYD Seal Dynamic, which is the base model, I should probably take my Tesla cap off for this. You get your everything that you get in your top spec models, you get in this one, basically. There's some things which you do get in the premium models, and I'll list them up on the screen right now, but you still get your gorgeous touchscreen with Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and built-in navigation. It's super smooth. You get everything you need on there, and a bunch of adjustable vehicle settings, which allows you to adjust the ADAS, the new energy, and a bunch of other settings. There's so much I can't even remember. It's kind of like an Android tablet, but it works, so it works. Can't really judge based on that. You've got your gorgeous dual wireless charging pads down there, and they're like anti-slip kind of material with like ridges on the very edges, I guess, to stop your phone from sliding all over the place. You've got your gear selector, which kind of looks like the crystal ones they have in BMWs. You get your fan speed settings on one side, your AC settings I should say. You get your traction control and your blind spot and auto hold braking on the left side. You've got your drive modes as well on the left side, and you can switch between normal, eco, and sport. You've got your volume as well with the radio power on or off setting on the right side, with the park in the middle. And then you've got your hazards at the bottom of that little cluster. You've got your cup holders with teeth in them, 2 of them, and it's average. It's actually good size actually. It fits my water bottle there just fine. You've got an NFC reader for your NFC key fob, because you do get 1 NFC card and you do get 2 proper keys. And that obviously is just a way that if you don't have your key on you, it's just an easy way to get in the vehicle. You just tag it. Okay. You just tag your little key fob, not key fob, your little key card on the mirror, and then you just tag it on the center console, and then you just hit the brake, start the car, and you drive off. So you've got your lock, unlock, boot, and you've got your remote start that you can use to start the AC as well, and just BYD on the back. And it's a proximity sensing key. You get in and you just push button start. And you have got a nice glove box as well. It's pretty nice sized, and it's felt lined just like a Tesla, which is good because I feel like this is the competitor to Tesla. You've got your auto lights, auto high beams, and auto wipers, which should be good. I can't really test them right now, although I'd assume they are better than Tesla. And because Tesla doesn't use a rain sensor, they use the cameras. They can improve with software updates, but at the same time, right now, BYD is probably better. So now to talk about AC, I talked about the shortcuts before. Now they're not capacitive buttons, they are like you push them. And I like that because it gives the user a lot more feedback. And on the topic of AC, you can change the fan speed setting. There's obviously lots of options, lots of temperature options, and it's dual zone. You can obviously also have your seat heating. So you have your rear windshield and side mirror heating. You have the front passenger seat is heated and ventilated, and so is the driver's seat. It's also heated and ventilated with 2 settings for each. So that's good. And there's a PM 2.5 air detection, so it actually filters out the air that's coming into the cabin, which is obviously really good. So now let's talk about the audio in this vehicle. And the audio in this car is plumbed through a DYN audio system. DYN branded audio system, and I'll put the number of speakers up there because I don't really know, but it's really nice, really hearty. I don't know, I'll probably try insert a little clip of some music. Yeah, so I don't know if the phone audio will do it any justice, but it is a really nice system. And on the topic of comfort now, the front driver's seat is perforated. It's fake leather perforated, and you've got your, obviously I said before, your heated and cooled seats, and you've got 6-way adjustable. You've got forwards, backwards, backrest can go up and down, and the back of the back of the seat go forwards and backwards as well. So it's 6-way adjustable, really comfortable, I should say. It's really nice to sit in. It's like comfortable as well. Like, it's got nice side bolsters as well, and even though this isn't a performance model, you don't really move around much in your seat, so it's really nice in that regard. And it's the same for the passenger seat as well, 6-way adjustable. I looked at the frunk, 50-liter frunk in this vehicle, and along with you get a sunshade in the boot. and you get lots of space. It is a bit of a narrow opening. That is your little subwoofer there. Now, this is a narrow opening, but that is because it's a sedan. It's an automatic tailgate as well, and you can fold down these seats, which are easy to do. These door handles, you go out like that. Come in here, you pull that little lever on the seat, you can pull it down, and it gives you kind of a flat floor, but not really. But that still adds to more room in the vehicle. And I should say, now that we've exited like the less dense city, it's been really nice to drive in this vehicle. The regen as well, you've got two different options. You've got high and low regen, and I've currently got it in high regen because I like regen, of course. There's no one pedal driving, so when I do come up to this vehicle, I will have to stop. Probably see the regen, and it's not really that great at bringing your vehicle to a stop. It starts really cutting out about 20 and doesn't really slow down your vehicle much. But without one pedal driving, you get used to it. It's fine. It has got auto hold, so when you do come to a stop, you can just let your foot off the brake once you do stop, and that's really good. One thing I don't like about this vehicle driving in the town is the speed limit recognition, or speed sign, traffic sign assist. It picks up all the speed limits, even if they're not related to you. Like, it picked up the 25 from a different street, which I guess means the camera is really good at detecting stuff, but it starts beeping at you because it says you're speeding, even though, well, I'm obviously not speeding. And there is a solution, so when you swipe down from the top, you can go click on that, and you can just turn off the traffic sign recognition, and that will just deactivate it there and put a little cross through its icon there. So it won't display speeds, which is slightly annoying because I would like it to still display the speed, but just to not, beep at me about it then if it's wrong. But then again, the map system down here does display the proper speed limit most, basically I think all of the time, because it's based on actual data instead of being based off of what the cameras are seeing. Actually, one comment I will make about these cool seats, you can hear them. Now, I do have them in number 1 setting. I'll see if I turn them up if they're even louder, but right now I can hear the sound. I don't have music on, so that might be why, but they are quite loud. Yeah, even when I'm just driving along, I can hear those seats cooling with the fans. So that is a little bit of an annoyance I do have with the vehicle, but if you do have music going, it shouldn't be an issue. So now, even though this isn't a performance, I do want to see what this performance is like off the line. This is a single motor dynamic, so I shouldn't expect the most performance out of it, although it should still be packed quite a little bit of a punch, because unlike some other, EVs, it's a rear-wheel drive, which is how Tesla's been doing it, which is how MG in the new MG4 has done it, and that is objectively a much better way to do it than having a front-wheel drive. So we're going to see how well it does. Actually, this BYD's only rear-wheel drive EV in New Zealand. The Atto 3 and the Dolphin are both front-wheel drive vehicles, which is why this one actually has a little surprise under the hood. Yep, that definitely moves quite fast. So I don't know if you saw it there, but I was shocked at how fast it moved. It's got that initial oomph of acceleration, while in Tesla I feel like they tone it down a little bit, because if it's not the performance, they don't want it to just be going super fast from the line. I guess they want it to be more comfortable for the people. Actually, one more thing about the display, if you do want to see it way more in depth, just look at my BYD Atto 3 Tachyon review, or look at my BYD Dolphin review, which I just did recently.
Please connect your phone and try again.
So what you heard there was actually the BYD Assistant, and since we're on there, we can actually talk to it. So if I say, hi BYD, set AC fan speed to 2.
Fan speed is already set to 2.
And there we go. So you can adjust a lot of things with that. That guy almost drove into me, that's crazy. Now that we're at much slower speed, the suspension recently, as I've been driving all this time, I have to say that it is incredibly comfortable on every scenario I've thrown at it. It is more, I'd say bouncy, softer sprung than the Tesla Model 3 and Tesla Model Y vehicles, and that is a thing that I think is fine. In the standard range or the lower end vehicles, people want comfort. People who buy the performance, they should get the hardcore, harder sprung vehicles, and the people who want the standard range or long range vehicles should get the softer suspension, just because I don't think people who are buying the standard range version of these vehicles want the hardest sprung and the best handling vehicles. They want something that's comfortable for long distance driving and just in and around town. Hi BYD. Set the fan speed to 1.
Okay, I've changed fan speed to 1.
I'd probably say one annoyance I do have right now, well, not annoyance, it's more of a feature I wish this car had, was blind spot cameras. This car does have 360-degree camera system, but there are no cameras that actually show you a blind spot when you indicate. You only get radar, like it gives you like a little arc on the screen itself and a blind spot on the mirror where it tells you that, hey, your vehicle's close. Now another nag I do have about this vehicle is the infotainment, or not the infotainment, but it's more the navigation. It seems to lag a little bit behind where you are, as in the GPS can't keep up, which, you know, I guess it is what it is, but it is a little bit annoying. It'll say you're 30 meters away from a turn when you're right next to the turn, so it is a little bit behind. Not the end of the world if you know where you're going, but if you're using it to get somewhere like new, I guess you're gonna have to start counting how many streets, until your turn comes up, so that's a little bit annoying. I guess that's what I had to do. But another great thing about this infotainment system is that you actually have the ability to find charges on your screen, and it filters them from closest to furthest away, and you can obviously apply your own filters, such as you've got filters by distance, best match, and you've got amenities, charging speed, and connector types. So that is all amazing. Now I'm in normal mode here, and I'm just joining the highway now, and we're gonna see how it accelerates. Now I've already done a little bit of a speed, not really a speed test, but just floored it before, and it's really nice and progressive in the way the speed builds up. And now we're joining the motorway, 80 speed limit, and it picks it up as I drove past it, which is nice. That's great. When it works great, it's good. Yeah, but it's building up speed nicely. I'm just behind this other, petrol vehicle, dirty petrol vehicles. Yeah, so it's actually picking up speed really nicely on the on-ramp. Just because I'm behind another vehicle, I can't really, push it to its limits. But so far it seems great. The regen on the motorway is actually really good. It's it doesn't have that much, it's not like one pedal driving or aggressive as Tesla. But when I do let off, for example, right now I am getting 36 kilowatts of regen, 37, and it does actually decelerate me nicely. So I guess once you are on the motorway, you don't really need to be using your brake all that much. And as I went under that bridge, the screens do dim. You can probably see that. And they stay dim for a little bit, which I think is good for better safe than sorry. And unlike the Dolphin, which I just reviewed previously, those screens would go so dim where you couldn't see, while in the Seal, you can still see what the screens are saying easily. But I've got to say, now that I am on the motorway, it's really quiet inside the cabin. The sound insulation in this, and this does have acoustic glass on the front, and I'll check if it's on the rear or on the thing. So it does have acoustic glass on this vehicle, which helps reduce the road noise even more. And even though I thought the Dolphin was already very quiet, this thing is just on an entirely another level. So, that's really good. And now we're in the tunnel, screens dim nicely. And now, if I don't want to be doing the driving, as you can see, hands off. Now you shouldn't keep your hands off the wheel, because it can do stuff like that where it gets towards the outside of the lane, because this is not the best system, I'm gonna be honest. It definitely is a bit nomadic, as I would say. It's a bit twitchy when it does get in the sharper corners, but when you're straight, it does a really good job at keeping distance from the car in front and actually tracing your lane, as you can see. I will upload a separate video on this thing's actual driving assistance system on the way back. I did it for the Dolphin and it was okay, it wasn't amazing, so we'll see how this one does. And now that we are going over the Harbour Bridge, where it's windy, it gets quite windy up here, and there's these bumps on the road as you go over. I don't feel the bumps at all, which is surprising. In the Dolphin, I thought, oh, that was nice. In a Tesla, you feel every bump of these bumps. You can feel it. And this one, I'm going over great now. You feel it jump a little bit, but it's just absorbs all of that. Like, it just absorbs everything. It's like just sitting on a memory foam cushion or pillow. Just so soft. Actually, so let's talk about the exterior of this vehicle. And it looks like the Tesla Model 3 Highland from the outside. And that's a really good looking vehicle. It's got that sharp front end with the LED lights built in. It's got the side, looks amazing, the side profile. Then you've obviously got the BYD design, little bits around the vehicle. It's just an amazing vehicle, the way it looks, the way it drives. Yeah. Now I'm coming up to the point last time when I was driving the Dolphin where I could hear the wind noise coming out of this pillar up here and that pillar over there. And right now I cannot hear a single bit of wind noise, and it is windy today. I do hear a little bit coming from the back, and all the windows are up, so I do hear a little bit coming from the rear right. But in all honesty, that's the tiniest amount of wind noise where, like, you have music on again, you wouldn't hear it. It's really good at being sound insulated. This car has really good sound insulation, so that is a really good thing about this vehicle. And now that we're exiting the highway, this thing is the most incredible highway cruise I think I've been on. This is incredibly quiet, like all around, like it's really windy today. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but it is very windy today. And you do not hear any wind noise. I mean, a little bit of wind noise. It's like goes over the bumps so smoothly. The driver assistance, I mean, the cruise control works flawlessly, I should say. But the steering assist, as long as you're on a straight road, it's fine. You do go in slight twisty turnies, it does tend to struggle a little bit. But, I mean, yeah, it's just really good so far. Like, this might be one of the best vehicles I think I have driven so far. I mean, it is also one of the most expensive, so I should probably, keep that in mind. But at the same time, this is the nicest one. Actually, on topic of acceleration, the same problem I had with the Dolphin and the Aura. Now, it's not as bad as the Aura. I'd say the BYD Dolphin and the Seal are kind of the same. And that's the way that the accelerator works. You notice that it's... How to explain this? That the accelerator has a slight delay. Now, it's nothing too crazy, but there is a delay with the accelerator. So you definitely notice that. And it's only when you start moving. And even once you are like moving on the road, it definitely takes a little bit of time for it to, start moving. So that is something you should probably try keep in mind with this vehicle. I got used to it in Dolphin after about an hour of driving, and in this one, actually not even an hour, pretty instantly. Once you realize what's going on, you pretty much like adjust to it. And obviously you should test drive the vehicles before you buy it and see if it really annoys you that much. But then again, after you spend a little bit of time learning with the vehicle, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I mean, yeah, you can see that Florida, and it takes a little bit of time for it to, actually start moving. I mean, let's just say you're tired of having a typical landscape display. Simply just push of a button, or you can push down the screen there, and you get, voila, along with split screen function as well. Another thing I do really like about this car is the actual driver display. You do have the option, and if you push and hold this button right here, you can set features like you can adjust the fan speed, the temperature, and you can put stuff like the race timer, which I didn't think would be in this vehicle because this is the base model. I thought that would be a performance only feature, but it seems they put it in this vehicle too. And I feel like we should end on things I dislike about the vehicle and things I like. So, things I dislike. The accelerator pedal feels a little laggy. Now, that might be on purpose because that is in both the Dolphin and the Seal, but I don't like that. Another thing, the driver assistance. The cruise control is good, it works most of the time, but the lane centering is the issue here. It's not as smooth as maybe something like a Tesla Autopilot or even some other vehicles. So that is something that's lacking. And the Android tablet that's in the center, the infotainment system, is nice, but it definitely should get a software refresh, which gives it kind of a new UI, because at the moment it's more like a tablet than anything else in the way it performs, it's good. It does all the tasks you need it to do, although it does definitely just not feel like it kind of feels like an iPad taped to the vehicle itself. Another thing I dislike about the vehicle is its traffic sign recognition system. It picks up all the traffic signs, and that's a bad thing. It'll pick up the wrong speed limit, and it will not stop beeping at you until you go at that speed limit, even though it's the wrong speed limit, which just makes no sense to me. That is bizarre and needs a retune immediately, and needs the software update that recently came out for this vehicle. It does allow for you to disable the traffic sign recognition, and it does actually save the settings. The only issue is that I want it to give me the traffic signs data, but I do not want it to beep at me, because it is wrong most of the time, is so I've noticed. A thing I dislike is the blind spot system. Please, BYD, let us give the camera. It would be nice if the camera could just pop up on the driver display in front of us. On maybe one side it'll show the camera, and that'll just be a good way to see if there's anything in your blind spot that maybe the radars are not picking up. Another con I would have to say would be the low DC charging speed. 110 kilowatts with a 60 kilowatt hour battery is low. And I don't know if that can be solved with the software update. I know Tesla has increased, the way the vehicle can charge and can adjust the charging curve through a software update, which is great. But this one having 110 peak is really low, especially for a 60 kilowatt hour battery. I think that at this point, that's too slow. And with Tesla, with the same size battery on a Model 3 Highland, which is about 2 or 3K more expensive than this, gets 170 kilowatts, which is a lot faster. So you've got to keep that in mind. So the actual driver display that's in front of the driver, perfect. The way it works is really good. It's big, all the information is large, and it's like, customizability is amazing. No heads-up display, that's kind of what I dislike, although you do get heads-up display on the more premium models. So when you go up the ranks to the premium or the the performance, you get a lot more features. So I really do like the way it drives the smoothness. The regen and the brake blending is really nice. The regen is also pretty good for a rear-wheel drive vehicle. Like, unlike the Dolphin, which had pretty poor regen, this one is really nice with the way it regens. Then you've got the way just the design. It's really simple. It's not like a bunch of other vehicles where they've basically taken away everything like Tesla, but they haven't done the software integration like Tesla does. See, Tesla does a really good job with the software, and so does BYD. And BYD knows that maybe the software isn't that great enough where they can remove all the buttons and rely purely on the screen. They've still got those shortcut buttons, which is really needed in a car like this. And a lot of other Chinese EVs, you need those shortcut buttons because the software is just not up to scratch. Another thing I like about this vehicle is actually its ability to get over-the-air software updates, which is something, if you own an EV, your EV definitely needs that. It allows your vehicle to basically get updates over the air and just improve over time. And that's the thing I was talking about with the ADAS. It reduced the annoyance of the system through an over-the-air software update, which is what you'd want in a vehicle. It'll just make it a lot nicer to live with. It's just a quality of life improvements that happens, and then every now and then you get a big feature overhaul like Tesla does. So that means some of the issues I'm having right now, through software, could fix it. So my final thoughts about this vehicle is that it's a great vehicle. And for the price, I think it's pretty good. The slow DC charging speed is my biggest annoyance with this vehicle though. And obviously all the other pros and cons. You can use that list to decide whether this vehicle is right for you or not. But yeah, I think most of the issues can be solved with software, as long as they do it right. But, you have to wait and see. I can't be certain now whether those things can be fixed. But you wait and see. This car has got improvements from software, but I don't know if it can improve every issue about the vehicle. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you want to see more car reviews on different vehicles, make sure to comment down below. And yeah, if you have any questions or concerns about this vehicle, comment again. And if you have any feedback on the way I film my videos, comment that down below as well. So until then, I'll see you in the next review.